Welcome, welcome. I am Dena, and this is Discussions with Dena. I am late, but I am here nonetheless, celebrating my baby boy's second birthday today. Got a little caught up in putting together his toys and watching him enjoy himself. I want to tell you, it's quite difficult putting together toys when children are present. So if you are parents out there, you know what I mean. And take it from me, don't do it. Trying to keep them from taking the parts and losing them. I learned my lesson today to get it done in advance. Now I gotta wish my sweet baby, my baby boy Nuri. I want to wish him a happy birthday. He reminds me of my late Uncle Pete, so I call him Uncle Pete because he's my baby boy. And in my house, we love birthdays. And in case you didn't know that, we don't celebrate very many holidays, but we make birthdays extra special in our household. Anywho, once again, I want to welcome you and invite you to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Anchor.fm, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. As you can subscribe right here on YouTube by pressing the subscribe button. And you can also press the bell in the right hand corner 2 times. This will notify you whenever I am going live. You can subscribe, like, share, and chat with me live. Subscribe and leave me a comment. If you would like to talk with me live, please do so by calling me at 478-227-2857. Okay, I would love to hear from you, so if you want to call me, please do so. I like to hear other people's thoughts on whatever it is that I am discussing. I always welcome that. Now, also, if you like the podcast and would like to show your support, I want you to donate. You can do so by going to the Cash App at $ Discussions with Dena or PayPal.me/Discussions with Dena. Your support is always welcomed and appreciated. Today on Social Sunday, one of the topics I came across that I found quite interesting was the information regarding the coronavirus. Okay, in case you've been under a rock, let me tell you what's been going on. There was this doctor by the name of Dr. Wei Wenling, I think that was his name. He was the original whistleblower doctor in China that sounded the alarm to let everyone know that there was a similar disease to SARS, and that he was seeing a lot of patients with it. This disease, we later found out, was the coronavirus. The very disease that he was trying to warn people about, he ended up contracting. It is said that he was infected with the virus, and also through him, the virus was transmitted to his parents. He is now dead. He died earlier last week, because this week has just begun, but he died. He and about 8 other doctors contacted, excuse me, and he said he worked as an ophthalmologist, and in his profession, he noticed and started seeing patients with this strange SARS-like disease. He shared it with other doctors. He was trying to sound the alarm but was quickly shut down. The authorities in China, I think they tried to keep it hush hush. They had him to sign a lot of papers, and he had to say that he was spreading untruth or rumors. I don't know why, because something that can affect everybody and kill a mass number of people, that is something that everyone should know about. But anyway, he has passed on. Now, I was watching some of the comments online, and there were many people under this article that was on Facebook and on YouTube who were posting that they believe this man was killed as a result of making his findings known to the public. Wow. Now, currently, there is a Princess cruise ship that's in Wuhan, China, that is docked off the coast of Japan. And this cruise ship has thousands of people on it. And I was watching ABC News, and they reported that there were 64 people on that ship that were confirmed to have novel coronavirus. And of that 64, 12 were Americans. They are Americans. And that they have indeed tested positive for the coronavirus. They are also reporting that a second cruise ship off the coast of Hong Kong with 3,600 passengers is being quarantined because of the coronavirus. And I saw one of the passengers speaking on TV, and he was saying that they had fevers but were trying to do everything to prevent the further spread of it on this ship. This to me is amazing. Now, I think they've been there for quite a while already. But there was a 60-year-old American that died, and he was the first to be reported as actually first American to be reported as actually dying from the virus, and he is in fact in Wuhan, China. Now, Wuhan, China is considered to be the epicenter of the coronavirus, and it is also the place where the State Department evacuated 800 American people from there, and they brought them back here to the United States. Now, there was a video showing there was about 57, this was the latest, 57 evacuees that arrived overnight, and they showed them getting off the airplane, and all of them were wearing masks over their faces. They were being loaded on a bus. They were coming down off of the airplane, being loaded onto the bus, and there was a convoy of buses there to pick them up, and they actually showed them traveling. This was in Nebraska, and they were headed to Camp Ashland is what they said, and they're supposed to be quarantined for 2 weeks. But I'm just wondering, is 2 weeks enough? Because I've heard them say that it could take as long as 4 weeks for this to actually show and present itself. So I don't know if 2 weeks is enough to keep them away from the regular population. I'm just thinking and wondering, does anybody know the amount of products that we use from China each day in our everyday life? There are so many products that we use. And I can't help but think that there must be something done to make certain that these products are tested or decontaminated or just kept out of the way. Because, I mean, if this thing is spreading this quickly and we get a hold of some of those products, can you imagine what that could do? Now, this stuff is here in the United States. Now, mind you, they did say that there were at least 800 people that were brought here to the United States from China, Wuhan, China. Now, on ABC News, they spoke to another evacuee that was, and it was him and his 2-year-old daughter. And they were in California. He said his wife could not come back here with him because she wasn't an American citizen and she was forced to stay there. But she did, in fact, have the coronavirus. But he himself and his daughter was here, and they were in California. Now, remember I said Nebraska before. So they're spreading these people out over the United States. And that means they need to be very certain that they're containing this, because can you imagine what could happen? The possibilities. Now, in Wuhan, I saw that they built a hospital from the ground up in just 10 days for all of the people that have been infected with this virus. And they were seen loading hundreds of patients in Wuhan that were infected with this virus. They were loading them into this building. This building was constructed in just 10 days. This is very serious and something we should not take lightly. I'm asking that everybody keep your eyes peeled, practice good hygiene, good hand washing habits, and protect yourself and your family. Now, last I saw, they reported that there has been at least 723 deaths so far worldwide, and more than 34,000 people have been infected worldwide. Now, remember, this is just the information that they're telling us about it. Can you imagine the information that is being withheld that we are not privy to? That's something to think about. It's scary enough because this flu thing, it just makes you wonder. It almost makes some of us paranoid who are already trying to avoid being sick because this flu, everybody I know has had or are dealing with the flu. And I'm starting to think some of this stuff ain't coincidental. Now, the other topic that I have seen in the news that caught my attention, and I know you would have to be under a rock not to notice this particular topic, and that was concerning rapper Snoop Dogg. Now, Snoop Dogg went to social media to send a message to Gayle King for asking questions about the rape allegations regarding Kobe to what's her name, Lisa Leslie. Now there was a CBS interview that Gayle King brought up where she brought up the charge of sexual assault against Kobe to WNBA star Lisa Leslie. Snoop Dogg, after seeing this, I guess he got in his feelings and he went to social media and he responded to Gayle King, and I'm sure most of you know the back story to it. But he called her a funky doghead bitch. And he said, respect the family and back off before we come get you. He said this in the video. And he said this. Then Susan Rice, which is the former national security advisor to Obama, she went on Twitter and she responded back against the rappers what would be perceived by some as a threat. And she called it despicable. And she went on to warn him that the CBS anchor has a lot of support, referring to Gayle King. And she said that she is one of the most principled, fair, and tough journalists alive. And she said to Snoop, back the blink, 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 blinkety blank off. And then she wrote, you come for Gayle King, you come against an army. You will lose and it won't be pretty. Now I just want to say, black people, to my people whom I love so dearly, no, no, no. Let me just talk to you now, to all of my brothers. And I say this with the greatest respect, and it's coming from a place of love. Stop it. Stop it. Stop this. I understand you are upset, and you have every right in this world to be. But I want to tell you that it's just not the correct way to respond. That's not the correct way to respond to your black sisters. Now, come on. Don't respond to black women like this. Now, her line of questioning can be called inappropriate. It was uncalled for and it was quite insensitive. And there is no doubt, that there has been and still is a bias in the media against black men and black people in general. But this is not the correct way for us to be responding, black men. And I say us because I consider you a part of my family, the Black nation. You're part of my nation. Now, your hostility is very valid, but don't call this Black woman names and insult her. I'm sorry, I can't ride with that. Speak to her behavior and about the issue at hand. Talk about why you have an issue with what she said and about what it is that is being said that causes you to feel the way that you do. You can take issue with her, but you need to refrain from name calling and insults. He called her a bitch. Now you can disagree with her. You can call her out on any issue she speaks on or even her behavior that seems to uphold white men and they're wrong and it completely annihilates the Black man. But please don't take the route of calling names and personal insults. It gets us nowhere. That is just not how we should deal with one another. Now, I never heard a single white woman reporter be referred to in this manner and being treated so harshly. And I don't agree with it. No, I don't say Gail is a saint by any means, but she's a Black woman. Do you remember what Malcolm X famously said? It rings true today. The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. That response just wasn't cool. Now I can get up here. I can't get up here and pretend that I don't question why we hear all the details of Black men wrongdoing. Um, it's true. We hear all of the details, and people like Gail and others take on Black men and they bury them in the media. And they avoid speaking on the wrongdoing and bad behavior of their white counterparts. They fail to do the same when it comes to white men who are behaving badly. And most of them are doing worse than any of the Black men that they seem to talk about. We do see them constantly defending their white friends and buddies' behavior. And they've done, like I said, they do far worse than any Black man does. But they don't report on this. They conveniently forget to do in-depth reports on them. And I see them in a lot of pictures hugging and kissing on these white men. And we can question that. We can call them on that. And they really seem to ignore that bad behavior and they happily throw Black men under the bus. We can say all of this. Call them out. Speak your truth. I mean, Black men have the right to do that and Black women too. But stop these personal insults and what came across as an attack on your own Black woman or women. It is just not a good look. And I know many of you said that you understood and you clearly understand what it is that Snoop meant. Black folk, I know you understood what he said and meant, but when has your understanding of one another ever stopped our oppressors from jailing, killing, or using simple words against us and taking our words out of context? They use this stuff to harm us. Now, this injustice system has always been swift and it overly punishes our Black people, our Black men in particular. And so, when white men or other non-Blacks face charges and offenses, they're a little bit lax with them. And I did say a little bit. No, they are lax with most of them. They get a pass. It's always harsher for us and our people than it is for non-Blacks when it comes to punishment. Now, I don't condone, and I think we should speak just as loud when we are mistreated as we are speaking now on this COVID issue. I want to see that same outrage, and I want to see you make videos like Snoop showing our displeasure at this injustice that is done toward us every single day. When you see us being mistreated, take this same rage and go make videos, talk junk to these people, show this same concern when we're fighting for the liberation of our people. Go and represent, as they say, and let's demand better for our people. Use that same rage to make a difference. I mean, that same passion that you got from what Gail mentioned about Kobe, use that to organize and deal with this wicked system that continues to deal unfairly with us. And that's for our black men, our black women, and our black children. I want to see and encourage this same rage over Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, and the list goes on and on. Get upset like that when you see police abusing our people, when you see store owners beating our women and children. Get upset like that. I want to see that rage and concern then. When the government is imposing unfair tactics and laws that you know affect us, let me see this same rage. I mean, the disrespectful attack of black women has to stop. It is just not acceptable and cannot and should not be something that we do. And I understand we get in our feelings because I'm a woman and sometimes I am emotional too. But to hear this, especially from our black men, it's a little bit disappointing, but I understand that you were upset. But we don't need to see this. We don't need to do this. Now, I don't want these silly messages from people that love to say that black men don't belong to black women. When I say our men, you do. Black men, you were made for black women. So if you don't agree with me, that is fine. But I want to invite you to go somewhere and sit down with that nonsense. Black men were made to be with black women. Yep, you belong to the black nation of people. And even if you deny this, that doesn't change that fact. Now, you've been made other than yourself, and so have we. But we're not going to even go there. Black man plus black woman equal black child. And I don't care who you're sleeping with, who you're marrying. If you are black, you are a member of the black nation of people. And yes, you were made to be with the black woman. Every group of people have the male and the female. And that's done for a purpose. So you can continue to create yourself. If you choose to be with a non-black mate, that is your decision to make. But it doesn't change the fact that there is a male and female of all species designed to carry on that particular species. Your DNA, your characteristics, what makes you you. And by mating with your own and through your own kind, you make more of you. You can accept it or leave it alone. Now, I think it's wrong to speak to or about black women in a negative manner, and I feel the same way when it comes to men. Because when our men do it, you show the world how to treat your black women, and in turn how to treat you because she represents you. So when you boldly and unabashedly disrespect her in this manner, you give them permission to do the same, and in turn they will disrespect you, because that means you don't even respect the womb that bring you into existence. So don't disrespect black women. And yeah, black women guilty of that crap too. But we don't want other people using this as an excuse to disrespect us in any manner. Because what it does, it shows everyone that you don't value yourself or your kind. So show some respect for the mothers of civilization. I mean, I am watching all of this and I am expecting, because this occurred, to hear and see others who do the same thing. It empowers other groups to show disrespect to us. even more. Now you're going to witness this done more and more by non-black people. Because, I mean, if it's like giving them permission and showing them how to do it. So we have to stop doing this, my black brothers. Just stop it. Now, if you are happy in your pursuit of non-black women, do so, but don't bash the black woman in your process. Move on, just do you. Now, I think it was not what many Kobe fans and supporters wanted to hear at this time, what Gail was discussing. And even though it was not the right time, it just wasn't the right response to have. I know you was dissatisfied, black men, I understand. But to Snoop Dogg and any other black men out here who are offended by her line of questioning, just understand that it's okay to be dissatisfied, but we have to control our mouths when it comes to handling one another. How else will we ever kill this so-called divide between the black man and the black woman? And I think that Lisa Leslie handled it. She spoke her truth and she spoke it with respect, and she gave a wonderful response to Gail. And nothing was wrong with what she said. She spoke clearly and she said it's in the past and we should leave it there. And she was right. But don't tear down your women, black men. We can't do that. We just don't. We don't need our younger generation thinking that this is okay and that the proper way to handle black women is to call names. And I'm sorry, but I'm just not with that. It's just simply not okay. Now, some of what Susan Rice said was troubling to me. Cause I want to know, who is this army she's referring to that's backing Gail? I mean, that made me curious because some of what she said to me was a little bit problematic. And is she referring to the oppressor's army? And why did she find it necessary to speak to Snoop so boldly? Has she ever, or have anyone ever heard Ms. Rice speak to any Caucasian in such a manner? Anybody in government that she's dealing with? Have you heard her speak that boldly before? And some of what she said, I think we need to question. We need to get some clarification on. I mean, her language to me, some of that was questionable. I say the same thing goes for her that I said for him. I don't think she should go there. Because I just don't hear that same boldness and tough talk coming from her when it comes to speaking to um, Caucasians. So I don't think, being in her position, that she should speak in that manner unless she gives some clarification on what she said. We have to stop destroying one another. And one of the things that I noticed, why would she, of all people, respond? I'm going to tell you the truth, and this is my opinion and my opinion alone. I was expecting some black men to stand up and speak up. Because Gail was, of course, it was inappropriate what she said, but wouldn't it sound better if a black male would have said, okay, Snoop, I understand you upset, but don't call the sister name. You can talk about how you feel. You can speak to what she done. But I'm sure there are some. I'm not going, because I know it's some good riding black men who ride out here. I'm not knocking black men and don't think that for a minute. But wouldn't that be more appropriate? I just find it odd that this woman, I think she's a black woman, she felt bold enough to speak that way to this black man, which sends another message, and that's a topic for another day. We know she have friends in high places and a lot of access to resources that the average everyday individual black person does not. So I want to know exactly what is behind her threat. Surely you can defend and protect your friend Gail, But I think she needs to speak more about her rhetoric and intentions with her threat. It won't be pretty, is what she said. Now, she does deal with a lot of people and a lot of wicked people. And for her to speak in that manner, which she did so boldly, is quite interesting to say the least. We know what happens in government and what people see and do and what they're capable of. So I would like to hear her speak on this issue. Hmm. Cause black folk get very fearful. We get very fearful when people like her. Some black folk get fearful when people like her start making threats and speaking out and up for individuals because they know what she has access to. Now, what's this DOD? No, it's never okay to call our women out their name. I didn't like that. I'm sorry. In the words that he no, that wasn't acceptable. We have to deal with each other better. I know we've been made other than ourselves, but we can change that. Now, I noticed a lot of black people on Facebook started singing another tune and quietly falling back once she put her 2 cents worth in. But she's not above critique. And I just kept thinking, aren't you sick or tired of being dealt with the way she kind of dealt with him? And she's a woman. Come on. Let's speak truth to power. Now, since Susan Rice made those remarks, Snoop actually made another video where he said he was nonviolent and that he was a nonviolent person. And he spoke for the people and asked what did he look like wanting to harm a 70-year-old woman. He added that she is out of pocket for what she's doing and to have a little more respect for Kobe, his wife, his children, and his legacy. And that he kept using we, speak from the heart. And some of you who have no heart don't understand that. He said, we very nonviolent. These are Snoop's words. He was a kinder, gentler Snoop. I think somebody got in his ear. Excuse me. But my thing was, he should have started with this to begin with. I just don't like the name calling, and I think we should deal with each other better. Speak to the issues. Stop tearing each other down. What are we conquering with that? We're not building anything. We're destroying each other like that. But something about her response didn't feel right. And now I'm not mad with her for defending her friend, but this army stuff and it won't be pretty. She sounded like she wanted to do it with him. And I'm thinking to myself, it is men who fight war in that manner. What are you talking about? Now, I can understand coming to your friend's rescue, but she used some words I think she needs to clarify. Now, on another note, social media, I saw on social media that Bill Cosby said he agreed with what Snoop said. And I wanted to know what part he agreed with, the name calling or calling them out. And I haven't read enough on that as of yet to get all the details, but I would like to know exactly what he meant because I could relate. These were his friends, and where were they when his feet was held to the fire? Where were they then? So maybe he's feeling some kind of way, and I'm sure we'll get more details later. But then I heard that OJ also agreed with Snoop Dogg. Now, I'm just wondering, is he agreeing with them on the issue or for calling names? Is he agreeing with their habit of intervening in the assault on black men, you know, siding with the powers that be? But I need him to be more specific. I just am not feeling him talking about black women while he booed up with non-black women. Yep, I feel that way about it. And I feel like OJ, and of course he's black, but I think OJ has lost his ability, his rights to critique black women. Now that's a whole nother topic. And I would call that topic black men who date and marry non-black women agree with name calling and insulting of black women. Really, OJ? Now, this is the same OJ that said, um, he not black, he OJ. And I know I've been a little silly, but it was just funny when I saw him. And this man can speak to anyone he chooses, but I'm going to tell you my opinion. I think he should have several seats and just be quiet on the issue. I do. When he talking about black women, nope. He need to wait till the issue on non-black women come up. If you're dating and favoring non-black women, you don't have a voice in what is concerned to us when it comes to us. I'm just sorry. That's my opinion. Deal with it. Now, when there were other non-black reporters that were talking about OJ and what he was accused of, and they talk about him. I didn't hear nothing from OJ. They talk about him now. I hear nothing about him responding to what they are saying. And there are a lot of white women. These are white women that are speaking on OJ. And until OJ can address them, don't address us. So after you go call them out, come back and holler at me. And then perhaps you can speak, OJ. Let me hear you respond to the non-black reporters talking about you and the ones that have been calling you names since before the trial. And by the way, OJ, where have you been on black issues in regards to police murdering, abusing, and killing our people like Trayvon, Mike, Sandra Bland, etc., etc.? I mean, the list goes on. Maybe I missed it. Where were you at, OJ? Were you at those rallies? Were you speaking up for us on social media or speaking out? Or did you give back to your black community, OJ? Let's be honest, OJ. You haven't been black in years. I'm gonna stop laughing. Okay. Now I just want to invite you, OJ, to go sit down somewhere and think about what I said. Now, that's my opinion. And those of you who choose to stand outside of the black nation of people and make these choices to deal with or to ignore your own black people, don't even try to come running back when you see the goings on and interject your opinion. How can you, who abandon your own people, your own culture, neglect your family, your black family, and then think you have a say-so in family business? Be who you is.